Welcome to the third episode of Podcast Your Destiny. I'm your host, Siege Nagels, and today we speak with Cristina Pop. It is not broken. Welcome, Cristina Pop. I am thrilled to have you on the third episode of Podcast Your Destiny. I'm so excited to invite you to have this conversation with you, so welcome.
Thank you so much, Sige. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here with you.
Yeah, the gratitude is similar for me to you. So thank you so much. Because the moment that I got to know about you, you draw my attention because how your energy is, the message that you bring into this world resonated with me deeply. And so, yes, please introduce you and let us know what it is that you do, what is actually the message that you bring to this world.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your kind words. It really touches my heart. You say that when that was I remember exactly the moment where we met. So it was like a reciprocal energy exchange, right? So I'm Cristina Pop. I help women stop running their business like a man. And we will dive into that, I think, in the podcast, because many women, without even knowing, we are on this automatic pilot of running our businesses, our careers, our lives, according to this old paradigm of the masculine energy being very much over-indexed in our society. And yeah, I think I'm questioning that is this the only way? Is this the best way for us as women, and also for men? Because my work is not about women against men, and it's really this, we will talk about it, this yin yang energy, yin yang integration, because we all of us, all genders, have these two energetic qualities.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. And you know, the importance of a woman being in her feminine energy and the man being in his masculine energy and then operating from that. Now, the yin and yang. You referred beautifully on your website as well that you created a sense of clarity for yourself on that level in order to step into this. So, what was for you your drive to do this? What are you, open to share what happened in your own life for you to have that clarity and to bring this to the world?
Yeah, I remember precisely the moment where was a dark night, cold night in, wasn't probably in fall, and I remember I was so tired and putting my kids to bed, and that I remember how much I was in my head, not really present with them, because I was already writing an email in my head, thinking about all the things that I had to do after I put them to bed. And that was a moment where what really changed, the shift, was that one of my kids looked at me and put their little hands around my neck and said, "Mom, you're not reading a story tonight. Dad will read the story." And I was like, "Wait, what?" and in that moment I realized, because they said, "You have so much to do. You don't have time to read the story tonight." And I was like, "What?" That moment of wake up call, because I was already having my business, and I was growing, and a very successful business. But that was not how I imagined success.
Yeah.
That was not how I intended to build success. And I know that this is the case for many women listening right now, that we we want to, we want to build our businesses to be free, to have flexibility, to have financial freedom. And then here we are, not being present with the people we love. And that is the case for many women. And for me, that was the wake up call, because I realized I was very much in that go, 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 do mode. And that was taking a toll on my well-being and my family. And also, I think my business was not what my business could be. So that's when I went on this search of trying to figure out what was missing and what was needed. And I realized that, as many high achievers, being on this um, journey of achieving a lot of things, I was over indexing this masculine energy of doing and going and fast, 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 fast. And that what was missing was also to bring on board the feminine energy, which is more our being, our intuition, our connection with our bodies. And when I brought that together, I started to build my own method, the Thrive formula. And then I started teaching to clients. And from there, what I have seen is that the results in my business got much better. I work much less. Now I have time with my kids. We're discussing just before that. I have time with my kids. I am present with them, and also with myself, because I think that's also for many women. It's not just about the others. It's also about ourselves and having time for ourselves and other things we love besides our business and our families and our friends, like other projects that we have. And so, yeah, and also with my clients, what I have seen is that it is possible to create more profit, more business revenue, while doing much less and while having much more time and more energy.
Yes, yes. You touched upon very valuable points that women with a family or even without a family, when you step into having your own business, that you're fully focused on how to be successful, how to set it up, how to make it successful, how to make things work. And the connection that we have to ourselves is ruled by the things we think we need to do. Or when we are figuring out things, we listen to other people. We don't necessarily listen to ourselves. So that's what I understand when you say I had to connect to my body and see what does this mean to me. So I also saw uh, a very beautiful testimonial on your website about a lady, and she was sharing just exactly what you shared. Like, I am doing less, so to speak. I'm more focused. I am more clear on when I put my time where to have that presence for my family. And she said, and I doubled my income. So this is also, it bumps into limiting beliefs. So the limiting beliefs that you help women with is, of course, based on the limiting beliefs you had to support yourself with in the first place. So when it comes to that embodiment, I'm very curious because you say your sentence is stop running your business as a man. I have
Yeah,
so
like a
many
man.
questions that
Stop running your business like a man. Yes.
yeah, like a man indeed. I have so many questions that I want to ask you. So first, can you elaborate on the aspect that the system that we step into is set up by men, and we go out in the world and do our business like that? What is the awareness that you can bring to people who are listening right now to see that, yeah, this exact point?
Yes. So yes, we are in a world where, if we think about the workplaces, they have been created by men for men, because we, at a certain point in our history, we took women out of the out of the business world, out of the working places, and that was, especially in Europe, that was through centuries, right? And when women have been, persecuted and burned, and taken out of the system, And then when women came back gradually, first in factories and then in offices and then as leaders, they entered a world that was created by men for men, and men have this hormonal cycle on 24 hours. So as a man, it works really well to go get up in the morning, go to work, and then in the evening chill down, and that works well day after day after day, which creates a very, when you think about it, very linear way of working. As women, we have 28-ish days of cycle. Our hormonal cycle is on 28 days, more or less. And we also have, in that impacts our cognitive functions, that impacts our how our emotional world, that impacts many things in our bodies and our brains and how our brains work. And so that alone, it's a very different way of working and a different energetic cycle. So when we believe that we should, and that was, I mean, it's not our fault. It's just our how we enter the space and we try to fit in and fit in the mold. And that's what women have tried for so many years. But what we see is that we burn out.
Yeah.
We are exhausted when we try to do that, when we don't respect our energetic cycle. Um, and that is one of the first, I would say, limiting beliefs that we need to, first of all, just be aware of it and understand. And then, what I teach is to gradually start to integrate that. And when I work with my clients, we create business models, and I also work with women in corporate, so help them what they have control over to start changing, and also in our own lives as women, and in the communication with our families and partners and business partners, romantic partners. So we need to see how we can build that in a different way so that we respect our cycles. But it comes from, first of all, understanding that it's it's just a different way of working and living, and it is okay. And
Yeah.
nothing broken, nothing's
Yeah.
wrong with us. We don't need to fix ourselves and push ourselves into something that's just different.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. It's so beautiful to be able to say that there's nobody's broken in this. It's a system that was set up, and it's working, also not for all men, obviously, either.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. And I
Yes.
think many men also today are craving more of this feminine energy because men get burned out too. And it's just that biologically there is a different cycle. But then the feminine energy and the masculine energy, they exist in all of us, in all genders. And that is just a universal concept that comes from the traditional Chinese medicine. It's very, very ancient and based on the 5 elements theory that I work a lot with. And that is, it's like in this, we all have seen this black and white sign. There is a drop of white with a black dot inside, and the other way around is on the intertwined. So this is the two energies that we have in everything in our world, in the seasons, in emotions are differently linked with yin and yang, and the cardinal points, like everything is combination of yin and yang in this world and in this universe, according to the traditional Chinese medicine. And I think we can see it because there is always more of like a drive, like an energy that brings you forward, and then there is an energy that is more, that cools you down and slows you down, and it's this combination. So we all have that. Men
Yes.
too, all genders have this combination.
Yes, it's very beautiful that you say that, because when I got to know about polarity and feminine energy and masculine energy, there's this understanding like, oh, okay, good. I was in my masculine energy. I was not aligned with my feminine energy. So that's where I got the burnout from. Many people had that realization that, okay, I need to change something in my life. So where do you start? In the sense of, okay, prioritizing yourself, understanding that your emotions bring a message and that you have needs. And then based upon being a man or woman, your needs differ a bit, are different. So the understanding first of the needs is extremely important to see, okay, where do I go with this? Uh, where can I be? How can I be me in this society? How can I be me in my relationships? How can I be me in my purpose? And this balance of masculine and feminine energy, because when people understand the aspect of being feminine in the business, it's what I see is that they think that they cannot be in their masculine because then they are not respecting their self-worth. And what it is with the yin and yang principle, what you shared is it is both.
Absolutely.
Yes. So can you elaborate more on that? Because that's something that will bring a lot of clarity for the people who are on this journey. Yeah.
Yes, and thank you for bringing that up. I see so many misconceptions around feminine and masculine energy. It has become like I have been doing this work for now over a decade, but I have seen how in the past years has become like a buzzword, feminine, masculine. We talk more about that, which is amazing because that was my dream that at some point it's not a taboo anymore.
Yeah.
To talk about women's cycles and women energy and women, in feminine and masculine and bring this discussion. But with that come a lot of misunderstandings and misconceptions. I just released an episode on my podcast this week about the four main misconceptions that I see in this world. So that, because there are many. And I love what you are bringing up is that, we have this, sometimes we might think that there is either this or that, a kind of all of nothing, mindset, that we either need to, to ditch all the masculine paradigm and energy, and that's, that's the answer, which in my experience is not. And that's why what I teach and the work I do with my clients is this integration of feminine and masculine, of yin and yang, of doing and being, of structure and structure and strategy in business and in career and life, and logic and analytical, that's the masculine, but also connection with our bodies, emotions, intuition, respecting our seasons inside ourselves, outside ourselves, like in nature. Our businesses have seasons, our lives have seasons. We as women have many seasons, right? Even if you think so I'm talking a lot about the hormonal cycle and the moon cycle. I have created this framework, feminine creative cycle framework, where I combine everything. And also, as women, what we can see with this framework is that we also have a cycle through our lives. We start as young girls and then young women, and then we some of us go into motherhood, but it's not just about, birth. As women, we don't birth just children. That's one option. We also birth projects. We also birth ideas. We are the creative force, and so, after that comes perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause. So as women also have these cycles in our whole life. And if we look at nature and also what we know about our universe, energy is cyclic everywhere. Everything is cyclic. Even the 24 hours cycle that I was talking about, that is, we are, working on that cycle in the workplaces and in our business. We have that, circadian cycle of that's also a cycle. It's on 24 hours, just different timelines, but everything is cyclic. And so it's important to have both. For me, it's really the key, and what I'm teaching is the integration of feminine and masculine.
Yeah.
It's really this yin and yang principle.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for making very clear that you can set up a business that is aligned with who you are and with your own physical needs, energetical needs. And one time I heard Sadhguru sharing about exactly that the cycles of men and women are different. And he was saying that the cycles for men are more 3 years and 6 years and 12 years. like it's very more prolonged. And also, of course, the 24-hour cycle that we have day in, day out. And then, the ability or the needs that come with this to understand this and apply this to our own lives. So you are referring to balance. So what is that you start helping women with? How do they connect to, okay, this is what I think I need to be doing. This is what is my body showing to do. Because learning to listen to your body is a lifelong process.
It's a process, yes.
Yeah. And so in the beginning, people are not aware that when we don't feel well in our minds, that this is showing in the body through signs and symptoms. So learning to understand to your body and learning to understand the message of your body and learning to set up a business that is aligned. Where do you start? Because this is really going back to the core of who you are. Because for every single woman, that's different.
Yes, yes. Actually, you mentioned the word balance, and I just want to bring my perspective on that. I more and more I refer to it as integration, because I think the word balance has been a little bit overused. That work-life balance, that you have like two compartments, the work and the life, and that you need to balance them. And what I see, especially in an entrepreneurship, and also it's actually just an observation in nature, there is no perfect balance. Right? If we look at nature has more young seasons, more active seasons. Like summer is very busy in nature too, right? There are all these trees and that are producing all these amazing fruits that we have, and the bees are buzzing everywhere. So it's a lot going on in summer, and even for us, like we are more in that a fire element, or in that summer, very young energy, where we are more outside, and we also like to be more active in summer. And that is completely normal, right? So nature has that. We have that in our lives. We all have more busy seasons. The trouble is that we get stuck in those. And nature has, after summer, there is not an endless summer, right? Even under the tropics, there is a rain season, a dry season. So there's always yin and yang. And in our lives, what we tend to do is to get stuck and don't have winter time, like don't have some wintering hibernation time. And so that is what is needed for me, is to integrate all the seasons and balance really. I'm very cautious with with this word, because I don't think we can, and that might be a limiting belief, but from my observation with in nature, in our lives, is that it's more this like seasonality, cyclicity that is super important in this integration. So you asked where do we start creating that in our businesses? First of all, I want to acknowledge that it's challenging.
Yeah.
It is challenging, and it's not happening overnight, because we are like swimming like fish in water in this in this old paradigm, very patriarchal paradigm, where we push we have learned to push our bodies. We have learned to just override the messages of our bodies, to just enforce ourselves into, as in business, even into business models that we don't really like or we don't feel aligned with, in business strategies and tactics that feel pushy and salesy. And now my specialty is to work only with women, so I say now, for women, don't feel good. Probably for many men too, don't feel good. So this is, first of all, to understand that there is another way. That's very important for me to understand that there is another way, first of all, and that is possible. That's why on my podcast, in my workshops, I bring a lot of my clients who talk about their experience and what they have created, so that we start seeing that it is possible, that we start having other role models than what we traditionally have. And then, yes, it requires us to learn different business models. That's what I teach in my program, different business models where we are aligned with our lives, with where we can build sustainable businesses that hold us, that don't consume us. And that starts with mindset, with embodiment, but also with really very practical business strategies and models.
Yes, it's beautiful that you call it strategic as well, because it needs to be long-term supported. It's like life is a marathon. We don't sprint and then we recover. That's what we are taught. There's a deadline, so works towards a deadline, and then you move forward. So this balance, what I understand is from it's more than you see it as an energetical aspect of, because stability, it's with energies, it's because we in nature you always see first chaos then order, first chaos then order. And yeah, so this, what I was taught was entropy is always for more expansion, like this energy when it's combined and then it goes out, and then there's a state of seemingly stability, and then the energy moves again, and then it is for growth. So that aspect of, because we feel that as well. Once you have clarity, you achieved something, you have more insights, you want to do things better. You want to offer more value. You know that you can bring more value. And how do you do that? So this balance of resting when you're tired and knowing that's a long-term game, I think it's very worthwhile, because yeah, that's how we once we become aware that all we do is better steered from another level, you need other perceptions. So I'm very grateful that you share about that, so people get to understand, oh, there are different possibilities. It is shown. So thank you for sharing those examples. And for yourself, when it comes to, because you say, I read on your website that you don't work on Friday afternoons, and that you also have Wednesday available for you. That are very conscious choices to really be there for our families, for our children. Because either if people are in corporate or start their own business, they're just like you shared in the beginning, their main goal is freedom to do the things how they want to do and to have more direction when it comes to managing their own time. So, and then being caught up in, okay, it looks like a 9 to 5. I'm working for myself. Where is this, the time that I have, the presence that I can bring with my family? So, starting from that premise and the strategies you have in the business, so people decide from the beginning on, okay, this is important to me, this is where I want to be there for my children, or I want to be there for my partner, I want to be there for my parents or friends.
For myself,
For myself, thank you.
a big one.
Absolutely, because this is the first aspect. In order to do all of this, you have to understand how to prioritize yourself. So is it a conscious choice and saying, okay, I choose this, I do it this way, and then you mold it into something that is, uh, uh, yeah, reflecting the needs of your business as well? Yeah.
Yes, I believe it's important for us to make conscious choices, because what tends to happen is we go out of, many business owners have been in the corporate world, or at least in maybe a little bit in the the school system, and also in our in our whole society we have this 9 to 5 or 9 to 8 8 to 4 or 9 to 6, like, depending on cultures and countries. But we tend to look at the week as Monday to Friday, let's say 9 to 6. And we unconsciously reproduce this in our businesses. But what I want to challenge is that it doesn't have to be that way. Like, you could first look at how it works for you. And for some people it might work that actually, you rest in the middle of the week and you work on weekends, or that you have I have sometimes clients who implement, like, they work only in the morning and beginning of the afternoon, and then they have a break, and then they like to come back to their work in the evening. And I think it's important to look at that and what would work for you and for your life. And also, very importantly, to know that that might change over time.
Mhm.
That, for me, you're mentioning I'm not working on Friday afternoons and Wednesday afternoons at the moment. That has also been like, I play with different ways because my life evolves, my children grow up, my my what I want to do for myself has changed. So it's important from time to time to just pause and look if the structure you have built works actually for you, and if you want to keep that. And I also think it's important to also have a structure around your, or how you organize yourself, but also flexibility. Again, yin and yang, masculine and feminine structure is important, but also to not go. I also see so many methods, and I have clients coming to me saying, I have tried this and tried this, it doesn't work for me, because they are very rigid structures, and they don't work. They work well for some people, they don't work for others. So that's why what I'm teaching is a time and energy alchemy, where you actually alchemize these resources and find your own way. You find your own way. And alchemy is also like an evolving process. It works for you now, but maybe in 5 years it was going to be different. And then of course, we have businesses, and we also operate. And I want to be very clear on that. We operate in a linear world, yeah, with realities, and the idea is to see where do you have control and what can you change, and sometimes just 1% of change can be huge. It's not that because we cannot change the whole thing, that we cannot just start with something. Yeah. And then to look into how we can build our businesses. For me, it's also important to help women build profitable businesses that create revenue, where they can get paid for their work. Women tend to undercharge, to overwork, and to be very dependent financially, and unsafe financially. So it is important to build businesses where we can have business revenue also that allows us to pay our bills.
Yeah.
I think it's an important one. Yeah.
Mm.
Because I think, so many of my clients do, start their businesses, do the work they do because they have a cause, they something that they want to change in the world, and that is super important, the impact we have in the world. But in order to be able to sustain that over years, you also need financial resources. So for me, both are important. So the question is, okay, so how you want to have your life, and how you can build your business in a way that supports you. And not everything can be done immediately. I think it's important also to bring that back. That patience is also important in entrepreneurship and in any project, right? To be able to have the patience to build things, but start somewhere and start building instead of waiting until everything is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing about setting up a purpose with which you can earn money. That
It's
you
important.
just put the words out there, like, yes, I'm doing this because I really want to make a difference, and of course I want to earn money, and yes, of course I want to earn well money, because a lot of women feel sort of limited by expressing that, or because of the paradigm that comes with money. So I'm very grateful that you touch upon that and that you bring it to people's awareness. Like, yes, we do this, we make a difference. And of course, it needs to be sustainable financially, as you know, it's said that there's this pension available for us. But then again, you know, at some point it's better to come up with your own structure, your own system to support yourself on the long term. So I'm very grateful that you share that. And it's something that I know a lot of women have questions about. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think, that's I mean, we could do a whole, and I have on my podcast coming soon a whole series on women and money, and how we think and feel about it and what we do about it. But I think it's important to realize that when women have more money in their hands, women invest differently. Women, have also invest in different causes. And I think especially today, we need more women who have that power.
Yeah.
The word power is also like money, very triggering for many of us, and that's normal because they have, they're coming with a lot of like heavy heavy stuff, right? That we won't be able to unpack everything today. But I think it's important to also, start noticing where I'm triggered when I'm talking about money, about power, because I think when women have more power, and especially today, we need more women who have that power of changing the world. And it comes through also having access to financial resources. Because if a woman is, completely burnout, overworking herself and not having the joy of life and the creative energy, because also that's what's happening. I think it's important to say that too. What happens when women are worn out is that they don't have access anymore to their creative power.
Mhm.
And that is such a loss for this world.
Yeah.
Because so many women have, this untapped creative power in themselves. And because they are burned out, they don't have access to it anymore. And we need more products created by women. We need more inventions by women. We need more services we need created by women, just to have this diversity and different perspectives. And yes, that goes also along with having access to resources, and one of the resources is money. And what I like to see in money is that money are like an amplifier.
Yeah.
It amplifies. I don't remember who said that, but I think it was one of my spiritual teacher said money is like rain. When it falls onto roses, it just makes roses grow. When it falls on the weeds, makes weeds grow. So it's the problem is not the rain, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can be the roses. We can be the roses into the world and have access to rain in order to build beautiful gardens. And I think why I'm so passionate about the work I do. I want more gardens in this world.
I so love this example because it is money is an amplifier, and you know what people connect to it with is if it's done good with it or if it's done bad with it. It's totally depending on the person who has the money. So yes, absolutely. And I thank you for sharing that beautiful example. I never heard that before, and it's so beautiful when you talk about building gardens. So
It's the
yeah,
first time I'm seeing also this way. That's the first time I'm saying it this way. So that already gave me an idea for a for a for a podcast episode or a blog post. Yes,
yes,
I that's the first time I'm seeing this way. And I think it's it's so it's so important to bring different ways of in challenging, questioning our ways of how we see how we see financial resources and time and energy, and so that we can build on that in a more aligned way for ourselves.
yes, yes, absolutely. And when you're referring to building gardens, I know there's a new passion project for you coming up at some point in the future. Are you
Which
open
one?
to share about it? We connected through the women's hub in Zurich and also through women's circles. And you have this passion for yourself to set up your own women's circle. Are you open to share a little bit about it, what we can expect in the future?
Thank you for bringing that up. I was like, which project? Because I have a couple of projects right now. And yes, and I like how the garden made you think about that, because I really also see, women's circles like, this sacred garden for women, a sacred place for women to come and to, when women bring their collective, their energy into the collective, and just by their intention, bring that into the energetic field. I think especially right now with what's going on in the world, we need women to come together.
Yeah.
Women are more in their power when they come together. It's so precious and beautiful and powerful for women to come together, to bring their intention for the world together, so that we change the narrative and the energetics in the world. So yes, I'm working in my team right now to bring the women's circles in Zurich, in a beautiful space. I cannot wait to share. I think probably next week we'll be able to announce it. And yes, there will be some garden energy there. I won't say more. Just come and see, because it's going to be really a sacred space. I want to create this sacred space, this garden for women.
Yes. Yes.
Sacred garden.
Thank you for sharing about that. Just a tiny bit more. And what I also feel is when women come together, when it's a safe space, very easily, with a lot of comfort, women are drawn to share what is on their hearts. They feel the need to be vulnerable in a safe space. So, and when we are able to create that, allow people to come together who they are, without the judgments, without the stories, just this is where I am right now, and I'm looking for, yeah, like a group of people, like this safe energy. Because when energy comes together, of course, it expands. It's stronger. So when it can reinforce the self-worth of other women, like, hey, wow, this person is going through this person is going through this, and we all strive for the same. And that's what I see with women over the whole globe. We are here in our feminine power, nurturing, knowing what is needed. We see what is needed in the world. We understand the new energies of children. We understand the old structures, and still we are finding our way to contribute, even though we may have limiting beliefs, even though we are wounded, or everybody has their own wounds or traumas that is unconsciously, consciously there. So having that possibility to come together is so powerful. So thank you.
Yes, I absolutely. And it's also, I think, a radical act, because women, not everywhere in this world, women are allowed to meet up.
Mhm.
There are many places where it's forbidden for women to come together. It's forbidden for women to use their voices, to sing, to talk, so. And even in Europe, if we think about the dark times of the what we call the witch hunt, there were no witches, but there was a hunt. And it's that time where women were set up against each other, and not allowed to come together, to unite. And when we, as now in 2025, we come together, we sit in circle, and we bring our powers, our energy together, that's also a very radical act of, yes, I step into my freedom. Yes, I acknowledge that was not the case for the women, my women ancestors in my family. Like, not so long ago, we were not allowed to do that anymore. And I think especially today, we need more women to come together, sit in circle, and step into their power, and also say what they wish for the world, their intentions for the world, and not just casually sit there, but in a way that it is strong and sacred, and it's like testimonial of I am here and I won't move. I won't be silenced.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I'd love to connect to what you said in the beginning of this episode, is that you are here to support women and you're not against men. Because what I
No, I have
understand,
a very wonderful man in my life. I don't talk
yes,
much about it, but but I just want to mention that so
yeah,
important.
yes,
That and I have written a LinkedIn post recently where I said like actually men want the same thing. Not all of them. The patriarchal men, they want women who serve and are available for making their lives better, and but that's not the case for many men, and that's not the case for my partner. And I know that, that is so important to remember that we need to do this together and we want the same thing. Many men want, I mean, my partner doesn't want me to put my dreams aside. He will cook dinner while I will be able to go and do the women's stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. And that is important to really remember that we are a sacred team, men and
yeah,
women, and that we are the embodiment of yin and yang. Also on this earth, and that we want the same thing, which is a new paradigm where we are these two forces united and not against each other. So that's why even if I have like stop running your business like a man in my title, no, there are many men who resonate with that.
yeah,
I also get messages from men who are like, yes, yes, go for it. That's what we want. Now it's not only important to say it, we want to see it.
yeah.
And it starts at home, it starts at our workplaces, it starts by you really as a man. Also, if there are any men who are listening to this podcast, you as a man also stepping into your power, and men who are in their power are not afraid of women who are in their power.
Yeah, you're so absolutely right. And the examples that we set for our children or for younger generations is this unity of, okay, we know there's differences. The focus is still on the union. The focus is still on being a team. The focus is still on growing together and making these differences together, because there's many women businesses, and the the effect is that when there's a combination of masculine with the feminine, everything thrives. And also when it's masculine with the feminine, it thrives as well. So it's this growth, this community of masculine
Yes,
and feminine. Yeah, the union is so important to understand the yin and yang. That
yes.
we do this together. We build this new world together. It's not or, it's and. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why the name of my company and of my method is the Thrive formula, because when you integrate the feminine and masculine, that's when we thrive, and that's what we see everywhere around us. And for me, nature is such a inspiration, because when you look at nature, you understand everything. You ask me where did I got the idea, is really by observing nature and understanding how it works. And I think each time where we feel like we are coming back to ancient wisdom, coming back to what we know. And we haven't talked about intuition, but that's also big. We could start another podcast episode, because our intuition always brings us to thriving, always want us to thrive and bring the feminine and masculine together.
Yes, yes, indeed. Just very beautiful that you tap on this intuition, because it is a huge aspect. Because people are emotional creatures, we are not rational creatures, and intuition is such an important drive, and how we learn to listen to it. So, we definitely have more
We have more.
to talk about. And so, there's opportunities for in the future. So right now, I really love to thank you. To
I
thank you
thank you. I
for,
thank you for
for
having me.
yes, for spreading those awarenesses, and bringing it into the consciousness. Because when people listen to their soul and their hearts, and when they really get to understand, oh, there is a different way, then that's a thread that they need to go for change and transformation. So I'm very grateful for that, because it is a light. People need light. People need positive stories that it is possible. So thank you for sharing about that. I'm so grateful for what you do, how you do it, for your energy, for your vibrant, yeah, expression. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for being in my life.
Oh, I feel the same way. I sent you a message this morning beforehand. It's like, oh, thank you so much. So, Christina, Uh, yeah, I wish you all the best for your plans, for your business, for the women's life you change. And I'm very grateful to see you sometime near soon. So, people, when they want to connect with you, the show notes, I will make available the link to your website. Is there something else where people can connect to you?
Yes, I'm also on LinkedIn quite often these times, and Instagram too, and my podcast. Yeah, my podcast is also in my podcast, Stop Running Your Business Like a Man. It's also a place where you can go deeper into my work and to connect. Yes, I would love to connect with your listeners, and LinkedIn and Instagram are the best places.
Okay, thank you. Where can people find more information about your podcast?
I'll give you the link to put it in the show notes, and it's available on all platforms. So if you type "Stop Running Your Business Like a Man" on Apple, Spotify, your favorite podcast platform, it's gonna be there. But I can also put the link in the show notes. And I'm so excited that you have launched your podcast, and I wish long life to this podcast. I cannot wait to see what's coming.
Yes, and the beautiful communities we build together. Thank you, Christina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mwah. Bye. We are so grateful that you take part on this journey because this channel is a sanctuary for awakened souls, mentors, guides, seekers, and leaders who are ready to step into a new way of being. Together, we are creating a powerful movement of self mastery, personal growth, and spiritual evolution. Here we don't just talk about change, we embody it. We guide a growing community toward deep self awareness, grounded wisdom, and the courage to lead from within. This space is for those ready to realign their values, embrace transformation, and live a life that truly resonates with their soul. We are here to inspire and be inspired. And every challenge you overcome, every aligned decision you make, opens energetic doors for others to do the same. Your growth becomes a ripple that shifts generations. Even if you're just beginning, your voice matters. This is a call to rise, to lead with heart, to speak your truth, and to let go of fear and live from clarity, stability, and inner power. We believe the universe is conspiring in your favor, and the discomfort before growth is sacred. Your presence, your voice, your wisdom. Everything is an invitation to become the highest version of yourself. And your presence, your voice, and your wisdom are needed more than ever. Like this video, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell sign so you don't miss this. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this, share this with them. And thank you for your contribution for our call to rise and lead with heart.